guys, it's your girl Pam with 2200 tabs. Yo, I have a really cool guest today. I told you, if you stick with me, you're going to keep finding out who our guests are and special guests and secret guests. But this dude is known within the veteran community. I am a fan favorite of him. His name is Eric King. He's actually a retired major out of the Army, correct?
Correct.
All right. He's also... He's also the founder of VetsWhatsNext. We're going to get into his organization here in a little bit. But Eric is also an Adaptive Training Foundation alumni. He just graduated, what has it been, about a month or two already? A couple months?
Yeah, it's been about a month and a week or so.
All right. Well, before we really dive into that, because I want to kind of talk crap about Travis, because he's put you through the ringer, he's put me through the ringer, and we love him. But Eric, I was doing a little bit of background on you, and feel free to jump in. But you're a retired major from the U.S. Army.
Correct. I was medically retired.
Medically retired. 2016?
Yes.
And you served how many tours?
3 tours, 2 in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan.
Very cool. So real quick, I just want to kind of I want to talk about, your story kind of in that little pocket, but what ultimately made you want to create VetsWhatsNext? And we're going to really dive into what that foundation's all about here in a minute.
Okay, absolutely. Well, first off, thanks, Pam, for having me on your podcast.
Absolutely.
Podcast is a really great platform to allow folks like myself to get on your platform and to tell our story and to tell the world what we're doing and allow people to find out about some of the great resources and all those things a lot of us have to offer. So again, thank you for having me on your show. I'm a big fan of yours too, as we work alongside each other, working out to help stay fit, because health is wealth, as well as to help cope with things we may be going through in life. So exercising, being physically fit, spiritually fit, and mentally fit, all those key components are what we're needing in our day-to-day life. So how did VetsWhatsNext nonprofit come about? Well, I'm going to go back to the start of my military career, when I did not know VetsWhatsNext was going to ever even exist. So starting off in the military, June of 2000, as a combat engineer in the United States Army, I started off on the enlisted side because I knew that I was looking for a way to provide for my kids at that time, as I was a little young 20-year-old with 2 children, right? And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, man, what I'm going to be doing with my life to take care of this responsibility that I have. And a commercial came on the television, recruiting for the Army.
Oh, no.
I said, I guess that's what it is. And I called a recruiter right there. I was there in Arkansas, and I went and saw a recruiter, and my military career and journey began there. I was in college at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, where I obtained my bachelor's degree in criminal justice, going through the ROTC program, as well as I wanted to go from green to gold. Because I was joined enlisted, I said, well, I'm hearing all these other benefits of, since I'm in college, commission. All right, well, let me try it or whatever.
You get a pass. Let me just tell you, you get a pass. You did enlisted before you're an officer, so you have mad respect for me. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, I appreciate it. And so I commissioned in 2003 to the Infantry Corps. And from there, I started off on my first deployment over to Iraq, followed by a second deployment. During that time, I was injured over in Iraq from a roadside bomb, an IED, an improvised explosive device, while we were out on a recon mission. Of that, it left me with, as my vehicle took the direct hit of the IED, it left me with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, TBI, which, it's not that I look in the mirror and see every morning as a reminder of that day and all the other things that happened that day.
Now, real quick, I want to time out, right? I don't know if you really know what you got yourself into coming on the show, but I'm going to ask you some questions respectfully. And, being a combat engineer, not a lot of people know what that's about. I do. But your main job was to look for bombs, correct?
Well, at the time I was a combat engineer. When I deployed, I was infantry at that time.
Oh, okay.
So
Still,
during my combat engineer time, I just learned how to make, bombs, lay, little traps, mines, but also to build bridges and doing that the engineering piece
there's more
aside
to
of,
it.
we have the structural things, construction, et cetera, and then we have some of those components
Okay.
underneath it. But I was infantry at the time. I was a lieutenant at this particular time. When I was injured the first time in Iraq, my second injury, I was a company commander at the time. But from this particular incident that really led to the major injury of mine with the traumatic brain injury that this not again came about.
Yeah.
But again, a TBI, traumatic brain injury with residuals of a seizure disorder, which at one time was like out of control, but over time it got to a point where it was controllable.
Would you be
But I continue on with my military career. I even had the opportunity to deploy again, but from those injuries, my health began to decline, even after being hospitalized. And the military said, with my seizure disorder being pretty much uncontrollable at the time, that I was no longer fit to continue to serve due to the injuries I sustained. And again, treatments, hospitalization, etc. And so all that starting from 2000, now here we are, 2016, and I'm no longer Major Eric King. I'm now Eric King. And I found myself in a very, very dark place because I'm no longer doing what I love to do. And they were serving our great country, leading it, sons and daughters, training them, leading them into combat. And having friends who lost their lives in combat, soldiers under leadership. And, I attempted to take my own life because I did not know what to do. I didn't know where to turn. I felt like, one, my job was incomplete. Two, the guilt that I lived with. Three, this world now, as I'm considered a civilian, I didn't know how to fit inside of it. Because here I am, a little young person starting off in the military, right? Now I'm a grown man because majority of my young adult adolescent years coming up through the ranks was in the military. And here I am now, a full grown blown man, and I'm being told, hey, you got to figure this thing out and fend for yourself because Uncle Sam was no longer taking care of you. From that aspect, right? From that aspect of being in there,
you're
right?
a family man. You got kids at that
Absolutely.
time. I mean,
absolutely.
It's a blow to a lot of stuff right there.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you real quick. I know just from like my heart to you like just simple conversation, right? Mm-hmm. I don't really know a lot of what happened to you overseas, and we don't have to go into depth. Yeah. It's not. I don't want you to try to. We're not going to try to make anybody relive this shit. It's not what it's about.
Right.
But I'm just curious, what happened that made you get to the point where you're like, I'm about ready to take myself out with the guilt, and because I can't imagine as a leader losing people under your leadership, because that's what we don't want. We don't want to lose anybody on our watch. But ultimately, maybe if you could just kind of catch me up, because I really don't know. As far as you want to take us or me more personally without getting tipped over, just to kind of help our listeners understand what the hell, what led up to a lot of this shit. And we'll get to the good stuff, I promise.
Yeah. Well, I would just sum it up to anytime you placed in a position of leadership, regardless of what your rank is, if you're in charge of one person, if you're in charge of a brigade or division, unit-sized element, you have a level of responsibility, and that is to protect, serve, and keep, those humans under you, alongside of you, as well as in front of you, safe.
Yeah.
And for me, experiencing what I experienced in combat, again, the loss of soldiers, the loss of soldiers who lost limbs, being out on combat. And I think the biggest thing that I lived with for the longest is, I had as I was a company commander, I had a lieutenant to say to me after we were on a mission. I was the second vehicle in the convoy. And we had completed our mission and we were returning back to the FOB, the forward operating base. And as we were just outside of the gate, I would say less than a mile or so outside of the gate, we were attacked. And the lead vehicle received that attack from a roadside pressure plate.
Wow.
And it was my lieutenant, driver, and TC all critically injured. And as you know, we've taken care of the situation. We're rendering aid. We're getting the wounded in the back of the medevac vehicle. And my lieutenant, who earlier before going on that mission said, "Hey, sir, my guys, they're tired." And I said, "Well, LT, we all tired. You know, we're humping, we're all tired." And he was doing the right thing, looking out for his troops. And I said, "But your platoon is the most refreshed platoon to go out on this mission." But he was in that lead vehicle, and he was injured. And he says to me, you know, and I understand, you know, not saying that I fault or blame him or anything, but he said, "You know, sir, this could have been avoided. Like, you know, you did this. I told you we weren't ready."
Wow.
And I took that, you know, and I was like, man, like, you know, as a leader, you put in all these risk mitigating factors, but the enemy does have a say so in the fight. But to hear that and to know what just happened, you know, I took that to heart, and I lived with it for a long time. And now out of the military, as I'm replaying everything that happened, I'm talking about from my first deployment in Iraq, second deployment. I tell you, when we went into Iraq the first time, you know, I was a young lieutenant, and this was like OIF 3, OIF 4. It's the beginning of the war in Iraq. And with that level of responsibility, I'm grateful that I had it. But when you look back on it, I'm like, you know, what if we would have taken a different route? Even when I was in, we would have taken a different route. What if we would have left 10 minutes later than what we did, 10 minutes earlier than what we did? What if we would have been looking out better? Vehicle spacing would have been, you know, either closer. All those things I'm replaying to try to, you know, react out what happened to have avoided those situations. And there was nothing that I could have done to replay those in real life, because what had happened had already been happened. But it was, you know, doing that to me, you know, taking me down. And depression kicks in, anxiety kick in, and guilt kicks in and takes over. And I felt like at the time I had no other thing to do but to ease this pain and this guilt is to take my life. And when I went to do that, my oldest son, Eric, if he would have been 0.2 seconds later into the room, you and I probably wouldn't be on this podcast right now.
That close, huh?
Yeah, it was that close. As well as, you know, I had a best friend of mine, Captain Howard Wade, who took his own life with PTSD, and friends of mine who took their lives. So I'm living with a lot of things, and now I'm being told you can no longer serve. Like, what am I to do? So going through all of this, and, you know, not taking the initial step of getting the help that I need. And I would tell you this too, when I was a company commander, when I knew I needed help, because in the when you have on your uniform, you know, you have like on this superhero costume or whatever, and you try to act a part like nothing is going on internally with you. But when you get home and you don a uniform and you feeling like you're all alone, now you find yourself rewriting out missions and rethinking things. And I knew I needed the help. And the first time I went to try to get help, I'm in behavioral health there at Fort Stewart, Georgia, where I was a 3rd ID dog-faced soldier, 3rd Infantry Division, 3rd ID dog-faced soldier. I'm in behavioral health. And I'm going to the back to talk to a counselor for the first time. As I'm going down this hall, a soldier of mine out of my own unit was coming out from seeing someone. He said, "Sir, what are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, well, I'm here checking on a soldier." Because I was too afraid to say, "I'm here for the same reason why you here." Because I felt at that time, had I said that, which I should have, it would have gotten back to the formation. Oh, the commander's over there getting, you know, some help. He's saying behavioral health because of some mentally, whatever I had put in my head that caused me to turn around and walk out of the door behind him. That was the first mistake for me. Because why? It was that stigma. It was that how can you lead, soldiers in combat when you're not mentally fit yourself? Because it's that stigma.
And what's crazy is like it has to break the stigma, especially active or what have you, or police departments. It has to start from the top, almost like giving your people permission to feel it and to go get help. It's crazy, dude. Oh, thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
No, absolutely. And so here we are, fast forward, out of the military, that went through the point of taking my life and all those not good things at that time. But finally getting the help that I needed, right? Because I have little ones to look after. A lot of people surrounding around me that loved me more than I loved myself at that time, right?
I love you.
Right.
I love you, dude. I'm glad you're here.
And so the day I said, well, you know what, Eric, there's a purpose for me. I survived, combat. I've survived from taking my own life. There's another purpose. God still have me here for a reason. And once I found that my reason is to serve others, even outside of uniform, I'm sitting up in my bed one morning. I said, Eric, what's next for you? I said, well, that's selfish. It's what's next for those who are serving, those who will serve, and those who have served. And that's where the name VetsWhatsNext was derived from.
I like it.
And so I began it from everything that I learned by going through that transitional period, which we transition from the time we get out, really before we even get out of the military, up until the time we're no longer on this earth. It's still a transition for us. And I took all my experiences of transitioning out of the military, and I said, well, let me try to, from what I know, put something together to help those who are asking those same questions that I ask myself, what's next? And so that is when I built the VetsWhatsNext virtual website, which provides a consolidated hub to many different services, resources, benefits, jobs, discounts, and so much more in one centralized location. Then I said, well, I want to take it further. What is my audience? I said, well, our senior veterans, beginning to phase out because of age, et cetera.
Yeah.
And we have our younger, of one of those alphabets generations, right? Gen X or whatever that are coming up. And they need a one-stop shop to go to. Though there are many, veteran nonprofit organizations out there that provide great services. And I felt like I need to do my due diligence and add to it. And so I said, well, my captive audience is everybody. But if you prioritize that, I said, well, it's that younger generation. So I came up with the VetsWhatsNext mobile application that provide those same services through a mobile app, but you can have a mobile hub in hand to those services. That's awesome. That's the services. Yeah, that's the services we provide on the technical side, of the pillar. Then I said, well, what can we do out in the community? Because I like to, beat the ground. So we started all initiatives. One that's coming up May 28th, this Saturday, is the VetsWhatsNext Suicide Prevention Walk Run-a-thon 5K. And that was derived from my own personal experiences dealing with almost being another number added to that suicide number. Yeah. As it is reported that we have 17 to 22 veterans that are taking their lives a day, whether it's from PTSD or other mental illnesses. The reason I have on this shirt, 2222.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 2222. And May is the month of mental health awareness. So that run for this Saturday is just that, to bring awareness to mental health, mental illness, PTSD, and all those other things that we are battling every day, because we have to defeat this beast that I call suicide. And we're doing that this Saturday. So for any of your listeners who may want to join, they can go to VetsWhatsNext.org. I know you're going to hit that, but VetsWhatsNext.org. They can register right there, and they can join in person in DeSoto, Texas, or they can join in virtually. But that's just one of the things that we do throughout the year. We also have our annual golf tournament where we raise funds to give back to disabled veterans, dependents who are in college, with a $4,000 school term scholarship. $2,000. Yes, $2,000 each semester. We do that. We feed the displaced or the homeless veterans on Veterans Day. We go out on Christmas Eve, and we give out VetsWhatsNext apparel, hoodies, which is a gift of love, the gift of warmth to our veterans who are displaced or homeless, or veterans in community assisted living homes. And we're just here for VetsWhatsNext to give back, to do our part, and to do what the good Lord has put us all on this place to do in this vessel that we walk around in every day, and that's to serve others. Because it's not about serving ourselves. And once I learned that, I was able to even get past what I was going through. I said, Eric, this is not about you, brother. You know, got it, the guilt I was going through, got it, you know, the depression I was going through. But I had to tell myself, man, this is bigger than you. This is borrowed time. So do what you need to do and serve others like the good Lord did himself.
Dude, I wanted to interrupt a few times, but I'm like, he's on a roll. So I'm so glad you just kept going. Such good information. And it sounds like you guys have more than one, you guys have multiple events throughout the year.
Correct.
So we're going to push this out hopefully before the 28th of May, which is like literally in a few days. So I'm hoping I'll get it out tonight if I have to. I'll sit down, mix it, push it out, get it for you. We'll rock it, right? But if people listen to this after that event, it sounds like there's a golf tournament. There's a turkey. You know, I saw where y'all give away like 50 turkeys or something like that, or you've given away to
the full. It was the turkey and all the trimmings.
That is
not just the turkey, but everything you need for a full Thanksgiving dinner to feed a family of 4.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That is amazing.
Yep.
And I did go on your website because I like to do my homework, and I noticed, man, had your website been this platform or just a website like what you've built and created been around when I was going through my crap, wow. Because it takes the guessing game out of a lot of like, where do I go? Who do I talk to?
Right.
Where do I look for a job? Where do I do this? Or where can I it's all on your website. So guys, you guys want to get on there and check it out. We'll put it in all the stuff below the description, put your links down there. And that's a big part of why I put nonprofits on my website, trustworthy nonprofits, which I will add yours once we're all done with this. A fun one. So it's in a centralized location because we speak on it on every podcast, and it's various nonprofits or organizations, and we just need a centralized hub so people can be like, oh, here we go, right? So thank you for that, because I think that's very important. One thing I do want to ask you about, your coffee, dude.
Yeah.
I want to know more about this coffee because I'm a coffee junkie. If there's nothing else left in this world but coffee, I would still be as happy as a cucumber. So I want to hit on that real quick and just kind of see what that's all about and kind of circle back right from there.
Absolutely. I see you have the Black Rifle coffee mug there. That is nice.
I'm not gonna lie. I love their mugs. I don't drink their coffee. I'm a Texas pecan HEB coffee junkie. So but I like their apparel and their brand. So
I'm going to promise you we're going to get you some of our coffee accessories over there to you. So King's Coffee is our coffee company, and King's Coffee is derived from my son, the one who saved my life. Said to me one day, "Hey Dad, I remember you was going through your thing and you would drink coffee as I saw it to be, comforting for you. It was like the center of your day. It grounded you.
Yeah.
I think that's something you should have. We should have our own coffee." And I said, okay, I guess, sending you to college is paying off. You're smarter than I thought.
That's right. You're like 10 years old and you've got like a 19-year-old, right? Or something like that.
22. Hey, I have a 22-year-old.
Oh my God.
He's 21. And, so I began to do my homework, looking into how I can, get my own coffee company going, because I knew what coffee did for me, and I saw it as a win-win, where starting my own coffee company can also give back to my nonprofit, right? Because as you know, as nonprofits, we are only funded whether it's through private funding or grants, etc. So I see this as a way to be able to put back into the VetsWhatsNext nonprofit to help keep it going. I also saw it as being able to, as a service disabled veteran with a small business, will be able to help promote and encourage other veterans that they too can become entrepreneurs. They too can find a niche. They too can still have life after the military by doing some of those great things that they want to do. Now they're no longer serving or still serving. So anyway, I began to do my homework, found the right, coffee farm and distributor that I want to go through to produce a great coffee. And the thing about King's Coffee is just that. It's a non-GMO coffee, a low acid coffee, a great tasting gourmet coffee that is going to provide you that healthy coffee that you need, whether you drink coffee a lot or you drink coffee a little. And we provide that in espresso. We provide that in 4 different coffee roasts, light, medium, dark, blend, coffee beans, ground, as well as K-cups. And for anyone who wants to know more specifically about our coffee, they can visit kingscoffee.io. That's kingscoffee.io. And we have it all laid out there for you where the coffee comes from. And our coffee majority comes from Honduras, El Salvador, and we have some coffee that comes from Africa. So it's some of the best coffee, non-pesticide coffee that you'll want to drink that is also good for those who have those autoimmune issues.
That's good to know.
So, with you being an HEB coffee drinker or whatever, I will guarantee you you will love this coffee. And if not, you know where I am on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And you can say, hey, E, man, here's your coffee bag. Because what King's Coffee and partnering with VetsWhatsNext is going to do is going to give you a couple of different samples of all coffees.
All right,
and we're going to give you a King's Coffee mug so you can slide that black right out of the way so you can have King's Coffee inside of a King's Coffee mug.
I love that, man. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to do it for you. But it's all about, again, giving back. Yeah. And this is a way to give back where a portion of all purchases on King's Coffee site, a portion of those proceeds does go back to VetsWhatsNext nonprofit corporation. So again, I look at it as a win-win where we can continue helping veterans and their families through VetsWhatsNext with the help and partnering of King's Coffee.
I love that for so many different reasons. And I might need to pick your brain because with a name like 2200 Taps, we can go so many different directions. And my brain has been like, I think I want to do this, and that. And coffee is definitely on my radar. But I'm excited to try it because the one thing I love this coffee. And I'm usually pretty good. But, man, coffee sometimes, that acid. And I think if you're a coffee drinker, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes that acid just kind of, ugh. So I'm super stoked to try it.
So that's one great thing I like about King's Coffee. Like I said, it's that low acid coffee, in which all coffee is going to have caffeine in it. I'm not going to say it has zero caffeine, but this coffee that is a non decaf coffee, which we have that coming soon. We have flavor coffee coming soon, and we have the decaf coming soon as well. But our coffee that isn't right now the decaf, it's great for those who have those issues, which are, acid reflux and all those type of things. This coffee would definitely help. So, Marina really was like, when I drink coffee, with my stomach or whatever, what was that you say?
Is she right there?
Yeah.
Is she right there?
Inflammation. Yeah.
Inflammation.
And so I said, well, I can't have a coffee where it's not tolerable for you, because if it's not tolerable for you, then I know there are so many others that it isn't tolerable for.
Right.
And so I'm like, hey, note it, write that down. And we was able to provide just that coffee that's good for everybody. And it has all this health studies about coffee, and it helps with dementia and all these other things. Hey, I'm not a scientist, but folks can read into the benefits, the health benefits and drinking coffee, as well as for those who may think coffee isn't good for them. But again, King's Coffee is the best to go. As we say, but first, King's Coffee, first thing in the morning.
I'm excited for that, man. And my trainer, Rita at ATF, actually, she had told me, she's like, because I love coffee. I'll drink it all day if I could. She's
Yeah.
like, well, if you want to drink it during your workout, go for it. I'm like, yeah. She's like, I do it. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, all
What rose
right.
do you like, Pam?
I love dark. The
Dark.
darker the
Okay.
better. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You do K cups, or you do beans, or you do?
Mm-mm. I do ground. I tried doing the whole, the whole bean, ground it myself, but I could never get
Yeah.
the grounds right.
Yeah.
So I usually just get the pre-ground, and I use a French press. Like, I don't use
Okay.
regular coffee makers. I use a French press
Okay.
because
So you do regular coffee, or you do espresso coffee
I
ground? Or,
do just regular dark, like
okay. Well,
Colombian.
okay. Right, and that's
Yeah.
what I have. So
Oh.
we're definitely going to
Hmm.
take care of you with that, and looking forward to getting your feedback.
Yo, if you need a taste tester, let's go. I'm your
Let's do it.
girl.
For any veteran or veteran supporter out there, your family members who wants to, which I highly encourage you to, again, go to kingscoffee.io, or you can go through VetsWhatsNext.org
Hmm.
and click on the shop coffee to take you to the direct link as well. But put in for promo code service, that's service, SERVICE, and you will receive a military discount up to 10% off of your purchase.
I did see that. Very cool. Well, hell yeah. We're going to put all those links down below and help get that word out, especially for veterans and all that good stuff. And word to the wise, if you see a veteran's coffee cup and it's stained to madness, do not freaking wash it or you will die. Do not touch it.
True. It has history to
It
it.
has history. It's seasoned.
Yes.
I've heard some
Yeah.
horror stories. Do not wash my coffee
Adhere to
cup.
what you just said.
Well, cool, man. Well, hey, real quick. I thank you. First of all, thank you for sharing your story. You know, what happened to you overseas and your struggle, because a lot of people need to hear that. A lot of people, I don't know if they just kind of see like founders or CEOs or maybe leaders of certain organizations or whatnot, but they don't know their story. It's like you never really see them, you never really talk to them. But to see people like you and other people that we've had on the show be that vulnerable, it speaks volume to who you are. And I'm a firm believer that it's going to help draw those people who need you more, because it's like, oh, he gets it. You know what I mean? Or she gets it. So thank you
Absolutely.
for that.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
I want to real quick talk about Travis.
Okay.
For those that don't know Travis Strong, you may have seen a viral video of this guy with no legs, literally climbing up I think 500 stairs. I mean, this video went viral. It was just crazy. He's a personal friend of ours. He was your trainer at ATF, and I think I'm a believer, man. I feel like it's a God thing that he was your trainer out of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I can almost imagine the conversations you guys had, but to actually have somebody like him who may mirror somebody you lost, I don't know, or maybe
Yeah.
something. But to see him, like, I can only imagine. How was that for you? Your experience, and
Yeah.
I really want to hit on that. I think that's important because
Yeah.
that's how we met. You and I met.
Yeah.
But what was
Yeah.
it
Well,
like
I
for
would
you?
tell you. Yeah, I would tell you. Things work in mysterious ways, and I would say it was all God's doing to place Travis and I together, with Travis being my trainer. Because when I saw Travis, it also helped me to remove a barrier of I can't away from me, because my body aches and things that I was going through. I was saying, well, I can't. You know, having doctors to say, hey, don't push yourself, because, this could very well happen. But to be with Travis and to learn of Travis' story, he too is a combat wounded veteran where he lost double amputee, as you stated, lost both of his legs in Iraq from a roadside bomb as well. And meeting Travis and seeing what Travis is doing, again, allowed me to remove that barrier of I can't. And it forced me to push myself from, I'm believing, man, if I push myself to that limit, I could have another seizure, because why doctor said you don't want to get your blood pressure this high. You don't want to get this overly heated, because it has happened in my past, right? But Travis said, hey, trust me, believe in me, and I'm going to get you where you need to be, both mentally as well as physically. And he did just that. And I'm forever grateful for Travis that Marina, here, my girlfriend, she was like, hey, I want to, train with Travis. And she used to complain a lot about her back, right? That I'm always, massaging my back, like I got to massage her back one more time, right? No, I can say that now. No, but no, seriously though, she had a lot of back pains, with knots in her back, everything. And when she even started working out with Travis, now that I've graduated out of the program, and we still going back training with Travis, because now it is a part of my life, it's a lifestyle for me. So about 3 weeks after training with Travis, Marina training with Travis, I didn't say anything. And I'm like, man, she hadn't asked me to like massage her back to work out those knots, or she hadn't complained about certain things in a minute. I'm not going to say anything.
Well, she's probably
I don't want to say
dying over there trying to just breathe, man.
But she came to me. She said, I'm really starting to feel a whole lot better physically. I said, you hadn't asked me in a while to do X, Y, and Z. And she was like, yeah, I haven't. I said, yeah, it's that type of training. Yeah, it is that pushing. It is that motivating. It is that drive. It is that, as I said to Travis, his last name is Strong. I said, it's not just by coincidence. In coincidence, your last name is Strong, man. Like, that name is fitting for you. It's supposed to be strong, because it's not just his strength or his physical endurance to get you where you need to be, but it's his attitude. Yeah. Man, his attitude is like a key component, and it defines who he is, because he get up every day and he hit it, and he motivates you to, when you feel like you don't want to go, even if Travis isn't beside you, you think about Travis and you go. So Travis is forever a brother of mine, as long as I still have breath in my body. Yeah. And I'm just grateful for the Adaptive Training Foundation for bringing me into their program, because it was a game changer for me. It helped me to see things differently, from a mental aspect, from, how to deal with certain situations at the height of a moment, of any moment. Adaptive training was able to help me to use some coping skills that I hadn't even gotten from professional doctors, not to put my doctors down, but to deal with things without having to turn to medication.
Yeah.
What's better than that, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, ATL with Travis, definitely a life changer for me, as well as for Marina.
Man, the first day I met him, he kicked my ass in box jumps and burpees. The first day I met him, I'm like, that just happened. I'm like, I am going to humbly brag about that till the day I die. And I've been honored to work alongside you guys with Travis for a little while now. And I've seen Marina like the first few hundred meters on the skier, huffing and puffing, to where she is now, just killing it, dude. Night and freaking day. And
the first time she did the skier, she was like, I'm never doing that again. I hate it. My back is hurting more. Now she's like, hey, we're going to do the skier. I'm like, wait a minute now.
You want to do the skier? All right. Ask my trainer. My first time I had to do it, that 12-minute skier test you got to do on your first day. Mine, it was bad. I could barely move. I mean, I was still stuck in my, I can't do this. And now I'm like one of the fast ones. It's nuts.
Yeah, I said, this guy's crazy. He do 12 minutes. I'm like, straight?
Oh, yeah. So it's.
So, yes, the first time I did, I was like, man, this guy, I'm not coming back.
And Travis will, and all of them there at the gym, they all have that attitude and mentality, and it pulls you out of places you didn't know you were in. So it's a great foundation. I'll put a plug in. I always put plugs in for them. But yeah, I'm super stoked to see what's coming up for you guys. I'm proud to know you, man. I mean, I freaking we're sweating and working out and not I'm gonna say bitching. That's a bad word, but just griping. Like every
Yeah.
now and then, we're like sticking the finger to Travis lovingly because we're like, bro, dude, and we're just
Right.
like, how many and what? And okay, I guess we're
And he's
doing
just
this.
smiling at us. He's just
He's
smiling at us. Like,
smiling. He's like, it's fun. I'm like, you're fun.
I know he'd be like, I can't wait to see them tomorrow.
No shit. Oh my God. Good dude. Good people. But hey, man, I don't know if there's anything else you want to share. We're about ready to wrap up here in a second, but where can people find you guys more specifically? I know you put a plug in.
Absolutely. We are on all social media platform. Our handle is VetsWhatsNext. So you can find us on, again, all social media platforms. To include, we don't do Snapchat. We're not on TikTok. But mainly on Instagram and Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. And if I could just say anything in closing to anyone out there that's struggling with anything, or you may not even think you're struggling with anything, but it's all about self-care and preventative maintenance. Do not feel like you are alone. If you're living with a stigma, I challenge you to remove that stigma from your life because people love you, right? And those who have served, there's life after military. So do not be afraid to get the help that you need, regardless of how minor or how severe your issues are or your issue is. Just go to the 1-800 crisis hotline. You can go to the VetsWhatsNext.org, click on the Get Help button, and we have different services there that will direct you into getting those services you need. Pick up the phone and just call someone, phone a friend when you need some help. But your life is just as valued as everybody else, just as valued as mine. People love you. I don't know you. I love you. Live your life. You're going to get through what you're going through and what you're facing. Things will get better. So thank everyone who has served this great country. I thank them for their service, their dedication, and their time. Those who have supported us and the American people for serving our great country, I thank them for their service and their support to whether someone they know personally, a family member that has served, or someone they just may know. So lastly, there's life after military. You too are valued. Get the help you need. Remove the stigma.
I love that. And to think that 0.2 seconds away, this may never have been a thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad it is, because you add value to us. You add value to, to our mission, to the people that you served as well and still serve. So I'm glad you're here.
Hey, I'm glad I'm here too. And, my son, sometimes I want to just, get angry. I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna let you slide this time. Because I'm still here.
Real quick before we go, does he know that he did that for you without knowing? Have you told him?
When he walked into the room, it was by the grace of God, because I thought I was home alone.
Wow.
At the time. Yeah. Yeah.
So he knows he saved your life.
At that time, he didn't know he was about to.
But he knows.
But when he did, he knew then. Yep.
Wow, what a gift.
Oh, what a gift.
What a gift.
Dude, yeah. Moving on.
Nope. We don't do that here, but no. Hey man, thank you again for being here. Don't hang up. I'm gonna sign off.
Okay.
But again, thank you. And thank you, Marina. I know you're back there somewhere. Unless I know she's there somewhere.
Yeah, she's waving. She's working from home.
Oh, she is that what? Yeah, Well, tomorrow another workout, hopefully, right?
Oh yeah, chest day.
Oh yeah, tomorrow's chest day, and it's not like a regular meathead chest day, guys. It is chest day. So, all right, man. Well, hang tight. Okay, I'm gonna sign off.
Hey, thank you.
You're very welcome.
God bless America.
You got it. Well, there you go, guys. Eric King. That's what's next, dude. I don't even know what to say. That was a pretty freaking cool episode. But I would encourage you guys to get connected. All the links are going to be down below. Remember to subscribe, hit review, do all that fancy stuff that Apparently, I guess makes you famous on YouTube. But I keep saying that because apparently that's a thing, and I still haven't seen it. So help me make it happen so I could see it, and I'll just stop saying that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys, and stay tuned because we got some really cool guests coming up still. And I'm looking at my dry erase board. Some gnarly stuff coming up. So you guys are gonna really want to hang in there. But make sure you subscribe, leave us a review, and we'll see you later.
Thanks for having me, Pam.
Hey, thanks for coming on, dude.
Cool.
Hooah! Coast Guard doesn't have that. I don't know what the hell the Coast Guard has.
Yeah, what does Coast Guard say? What is y'all slogan?
I don't know. We don't have one.
Splash? Is it splash?
Sure. Puddle Pirates. That's what we are, right? Oh my God. Let me stop recording. I don't want to incriminate ourselves.
And hey, let's keep those who we just recently lost in our prayers, their families. We just had here in Texas another mass shooting at an elementary school, 14 dead. Let's keep their families in our prayers. The mass shooting in Buffalo just recently happened, and all the mass shootings. Let's just keep the faith and continue to pray.
Absolutely. I just saw that earlier before we jumped on. So it's a brutal world, but it's up to us to keep shining our lights, man.
Right.
All right.